Okay, so welcome to our anime tier stream. So the first anime on the list is Attack on Titan. So where would you put that, Fahrenheit?
I would put it's a begins with A, right? So it goes in A tier.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, okay, whatever. Let's go with that. Um,
Actually, you know what? I will be honest. I'm not like too hot on the like fourth season. Really, to be honest. And for me, it's like B. Like honestly, it's actually a B. To be
okay,
honest,
let's put it back. Because I don't know. It's not that
it's
I
got it's it's got some great moments. And the animation's fine, but it's not that great really.
I yeah I think I mean, I did like the first few seasons. I think it's season 1 to 3, right? When they are behind the walls, but after they changed the premise of the show, it just became this convoluted mess where like I didn't really care. Like they all just seemed evil anyway. Who cares about who wins? Um, okay, so that's enough about Attack on Titan. Unless you have anything else to say.
No, no, no. I'm like now glad that I only did 50 of these because this is going to take a while. I can tell already. Uh,
Um, I mean, we did get through this pretty fast. So I haven't seen the Sopranos, but I mean,
are we doing the Sopranos next? Okay,
it,
right. Need to
I,
find it.
compared to,
Okay, right.
uh, I mean that's the second one which I have on my list. Um,
Yeah. Okay, got it.
so I haven't,
I've never.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen this either. Let's just put it in F because we haven't seen it. Or actually no. We should put it in D for it did not see.
Okay. Ashita no Joe is an S, of course. You haven't seen Ashita no Joe, have you?
No, I watched the first episodes and my like Zoomer brain wasn't like patient with it really. But I should definitely like actually watch this show at some point. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm happy with it being an S. I don't see a problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good show. I guess if in terms of criticism, I mean, like as you said, the animation doesn't and the art style. I don't dislike the art style. It looks simplistic, but it's all right. But the animation is pretty bad, and also it can get a little bit repetitive, and there's some. Given that you're just talking about the anime rather than the manga, there's some continuity. Um, Actually, I think even in the manga, there are some continuity issues between the first and the second season. Um, like, there's this whole thing about him having the protagonist Joe having to starve himself in order to be in the same weight class as his opponent. But then and like but then afterwards after that arc, like that isn't an issue anymore for some reason. He doesn't have to struggle to stay in the same weight class. Anyway, but still it's a very good anime. I guess in terms another criticism which I've heard by No Thank You, that Denpa YouTuber, which if you want to get to his channel, you have to spell No Thank You backwards, and the O in no is a zero, and the O in U is a zero again. But anyway, one of the criticisms which he had was that so basically what he did was try to go through all the anime which are considered to be masterpieces. So basically, Ashita no Jo, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and whatnot. And he did that for a while, and and obviously they are very good as stories. Uh, but then he came to the for a while he came to the conclusion that, well, these are just good stories, they are not necessarily good anime. So basically, like, he didn't have to limit himself. He didn't really have to watch these. Like basically, if he just wanted to watch good stories, he could just watch cinema or whatever. He did like it doesn't. It didn't need to be anime. Uh, but still, but, but but still, then he went back to watching, I don't know, more stuff which is more for otaku, quote unquote, or whatever. That basically you need to develop a specific taste towards. Whereas something like Ashitano Joe, it's just it's good, but in a generic way, I guess. Um,
Yeah, like it's made for a broader audience.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess these days, actually, Tony Joe is like more niche than like a new anime coming out or something. Like just because of its age. Like not many people are like realistically gonna go back and like watch a old boxing show from like the 80s or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and another thing which No Thank You said in relation to stuff like Ashitano Joe is that basically anime started to do stories with a plot from beginning to end before TV series started to do that. And I believe that The Sopranos is one of the first TV series, and Twin Peaks, of course, which did that. So basically, what happened, according to No Thank You, is that anime fans uh, got tired of having a plot, because like uh, you have stuff like Ashitano Joe and Legend of the Galactic
Yeah,
Heroes, which did it as well as it could be done. And anime fans got tired of plot, and that's why and you got more a kind of anime where um, like nothing really ever changes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I guess yeah, I mean I wouldn't really describe Twin Peaks as like being a pioneer of like plots. I think like in a Western sense, Star Trek: The Next Generation is a good example of having episodes that sort of lead on from one another. Like there's not like a reset. You know. Um, but anyway, shall we move on to the next anime?
so the next one is Berserk.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. This is the 1997 version.
yes. Um, I
I looked on IMDb, and this is like I think it's like the top 10 highest rated. Like this particular adaptation, it's uh, it's actually way more loved than I like expected. But it does have its issues. But I would say it's like a good B. I
yeah,
would say it's yeah like same enjoyment as Attack on Titan, right? You know.
yeah. Um, yeah. I guess I guess some people will complain about it being put at the same level as an Attack on Titan, but I mean, okay. So why did it change? Okay, so first of all, what's it? Okay, so what it kind of got attention for was, of course, not necessarily the violence. I mean, there was always already a lot of violent horror kind type of anime. So, but I guess in this case, it's like you can take it a little bit more
I do,
seriously.
but I do want to say a viewer. I'm looking at the stream, and a viewer is saying S for Berserk. So I don't know. We've
Um,
got, we've got a third opinion now.
yeah, but this is not a democracy, so
Yeah, we're pressing the chat now. That's fine.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't particularly find it that deep, Berserk. I mean, it's a story of ambition and betrayal, but like, okay. Like that's not something unheard of, and it's done well. But I guess maybe I don't know. I wasn't that impressed by it as many others seem to be. Like another one of those series would be Rurouni Kenshin as well, but that has been forgotten a lot more than Berserk.
Yeah, I think Berserk suffers from the fact that it gets overhyped. Um, like, everyone says, "Oh man, you should watch Berserk." It's like one of the best shows ever. Only like elites watch this show, or something.
Yeah,
And then like you watch it, and it has all these problems.
yeah. I mean, but the same is happens to Eva, but I don't feel like Eva is overrated, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that's because Ava is better than this adaptation of Berserk.
But the thing is, I don't think that it's just because of the adaptation. Even the source material is it's
Yeah, like Ava is more timely. You can like relate to Ava way easier than you can Berserk, I
yeah.
guess.
Um. Okay.
All right, let's do a fun one. Uh,
So the next one is Captain Tyler. So
yeah,
Captain Tyler. It's either B or A.
I'll put this in A. It's
Yeah,
just like super fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and yeah,
it's not
it's pretty
overrated.
good.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
and
No.
okay, I guess how could we? Um, yeah, it's pretty good. Uh,
Yeah, it's yeah.
I think we really need to do another stream on Tyler because the one we didn't really come out well at all. I
Yeah,
felt
I
like.
mean, also, I wasn't like able to be there, and I actually did want to talk about this for a bit.
Yeah, because I think the other people on the stream were not that enthusiastic about it. Um, I think the problem Heraclius had with it was that it's like he didn't like Tyler's values. uh, basically, yeah,
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, if we're having a serious discussion on the implications of Captain Tyler's philosophy, uh, then yeah, like I would agree ultimately myself. But I mean, as a show, I mean, you don't have to like agree with his philosophy of like literally like just do whatever you want. I mean, I don't know. It's I think just taken as a like a satirical space like drama comedy. Um, it's just pretty good. It's a solid. It's a solid A.
yeah. And there's also an OVA series which, if you're talking about it next time, you have to watch it as well because the OVA series is a little bit more serious. Like it and so it focuses a lot more on some of the other characters, and also Tyler ends up getting tortured, and it's not like shown in a funny way.
Oh yeah, the OVA. Yeah, that's also worth watching as well. I didn't know about the OVA until like much later.
did you watch the OVA?
Um, yeah. I found out about the OVA because of like I was searching through like images um of like Captain Tyler for something. Yeah, because I wanted to find the like tomato insignia. Where they have like the red planet and like the green spaceship. It looks a bit like a tomato. And then like in looking for that, I accidentally found that. Oh yeah, there's an OVA series. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I think we should move on now. Right.
Yeah, but only watch the OVA if you really like the TV series because it doesn't have that much of the comedic tone of the TV series. So you have to actually like some of the characters to want to know more about them beyond the
Yeah,
memes.
yeah,
So
and actually, like, there there are like some like genuinely like dark moments in the show. Like, when like Tyler's like about to be executed, and I put like a bag over his head, But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's just cool.
So
Anyway,
um,
anyway, moving on.
yeah, I also think that it came from a period where um it used to be that like the whole TV series is based around one character more or less, which is less the case these days, I feel like. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Oh yeah, this is your expertise, which will need for this one. Fate, Carnival, Phantasm. Um,
Yes, yes.
style, right?
Well, I mean, mm, I need to think about this because really, this is symbolic for all fates. If you're not a fan of fate, then you're probably not gonna like kind of a phantasm, right? Um, but I think like I would say Carnival Phantasm is like probably like one of the best shows the franchise has to offer. So for that reason, I'm going to say it's like a B. It's like a solid B. The humor's good for the most part. It's well paced. It's like it's anarchic. Um, yeah, it's everything that Fate should be.
Okay. So the next one is Catsup, I think.
Yeah, right, cat soup. Um, again, this was a film I found like by accident, and it was a very good accidental find. Um, it's very weird. What's going on is very abstract. Um, it's supposed to be a comedy, apparently. I didn't really get that. I mean, I would say this is also. I would say this is an A because I respect what it's doing.
Okay. I'll give it an A, even though I haven't seen it. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's very it's just a short film, and there's also like cool and creative stuff that goes on.
so I don't
Uh,
I don't recognize the next one. It's a girl standing.
oh yeah, this is Senko Roll. It's okay.
Okay, then let's give it a C.
Let's give it a C for Senko Roll. I only really added this because of its because Senko Roll is how I found out about like other stuff. It's less about the actual
What's it even
thing
about?
itself. Um, Man, it's been a while since I've actually seen it. But they have a car that like transforms into a monster, and they go on adventures basically to put it as like
So it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
crudely as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, Code Geass next.
yes, another very very highly rated show on IMDb, right?
Hmm.
Everyone loves this for some reason, and I still haven't quite figured out why.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the stream that we did on Code Geass on the first season, I believe, was one of the busiest ones. That is to say, with the most guests, because everybody wanted to talk about it. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we had like more than one. Like not only did was the first series a video, you also went back right and he did the second series as well, and like three people joined that. So yeah, it was kind of nuts. Like it's actually like weird how popular this show is for some reason.
Yeah. It's also popular with girls, obviously. Um, I think I have to give it an A. Sorry. Um,
All right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not gonna disagree with the brigade chief himself.
so I guess what's I mean, it's a very easy
Yeah, this
show to make fun of. I would say, but there's some good there. Um, like
yeah. I mean, my criticisms is that it's just like a lot of dumb stuff happens, and the sort of politics, like between the nations, is also kind of weird as well, and also like certain things like come out of nowhere. I don't know. It's a bit of it's a bit scattered, really. I mean,
I think
I don't know.
the reason why people like it is basically because they feel like the ending brings it all together somehow. Like, yeah, they basically like the ending a lot when it came out.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, I get that. Anyway,
Moving on, I guess.
yeah, a very niche,
Even not
small
Jikan.
show we spoke about that I developed a vendetta against.
Sorry?
Um,
Even not Jikan,
that's
right?
the
Yeah.
yes, a time of Eve
Yeah,
in
time of it.
English.
Well,
Um, this is like a D. It doesn't do
oh,
anything new, and ultimately, it's like I would say the message is actually like harmful on an existential level as well.
okay. I don't know.
It's it's also boring as well.
I don't know. I kind of I found it a bit calming, but so I'll give it a C. But
I would
yeah,
just okay, give it a C. If you're giving it a C, that I have to because we have to be looking at the same thing, really. Okay.
yeah. I mean, so basically, like, it's about robots, but like there's, it's not. But it's not. So basically, you have humanoid robots, but it's not the apocalypse. Like, they're not trying to take over yet. Anyway.
Well, I mean, one could argue that it's actually worse that they're not evil, because then the crippling existential threat isn't really understood properly. But anyway,
Yeah. So next, we have one which we can agree about, which is Eva.
yes. I was
But
going. I'm not going to mess around here. It's obviously a S tier show.
and the rebels do not exist. Um,
No, no, I don't know.
I don't think we can really say anything about Eva, which hasn't been said before. So let's leave it at that
No.
now. So,
Um,
um,
I've like soy faced about it in the past plenty of times.
Family Guy.
Yeah,
I've
Family Guy.
I have never watched an episode of Family Guy from beginning to end. Honestly, have you?
Yeah, yeah, loads.
I mean, to me, it just seemed like an inferior version of The Simpsons. Isn't it that?
Um, yeah, like basically, yeah, Family Guy is The Simpsons for edgy for like edgy teens, I guess,
Mm.
or like edgy 12-year-olds, like would be more accurate. Uh, it's sometimes the jokes are good, but the thing is that so many jokes are told every episode. Most of them aren't good. So you know, I think Family Guy is underrated, and its status as just like a joke meme show. Um, I think that's overestimated. Ultimately, many people enjoy this show, unironically. So I'm gonna have to say this is like a good like A-tier show. I was gonna
Okay.
say.
Yeah. And okay. So let's put it in D. Um,
Okay, fine.
I don't know. I just can't get over how stupid the art style looks. And how petty the
Look, there's Family
characters are.
Guy.
Okay. So moving on. FLCL.
Yeah,
Have you watched it?
yeah, I did. It's got a great soundtrack. Um, again, it's quite anarchic. It's very creative. Um, I think it touched a lot of how people were feeling when it came out. It's a lot like Ava, really. But I don't want to say it's as good as like Ava, because it's also like very confusing. You don't really know what's going on. Um, I think like the subtext is like a little bit too on the nose, really. I would just say this is like an A tier show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. I think I probably was too old by the time I watched it. I didn't find it that I could relate to it that much. So
Well, I'm gonna be real with you. I related to the girl on the motorcycle who beat up people with a guitar, and that's who I related to.
for some reason, there's a lot of
I'm
guys
joking.
who relate to the girl with the camera and the cigarette. I can't remember what it says on the cigarette, but it did say something, right? Um,
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. I can't remember. I
some
can't remember.
English,
It's been it's
some
been a
English,
while.
yeah, something in English, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah. She was like pretty well designed character. Yeah. I don't know really how like
uh,
you could like relate to her as a guy. I don't know. I thought like her like whole deal is that like the protagonist's older brother moved out, and so she like wanted to go. She wanted to go out with like the younger guy instead.
yeah.
I don't know.
So
I don't know like how relatable that is.
Kino told me that he liked the character design for um the little girl. Anyway, um,
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we don't talk about him.
so next it's G Gundam. Um,
Yeah,
is it S or A tier, or would you put it lower?
A.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good,
I
but
would.
it's like
Yeah, yeah. I would.
it's the plot like stops halfway through. When you get the gigantic tournament arc. I mean, it's very fun, but it is also quite slow um, as well, and it's also like very much a kid show too.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I think. Yeah. Just go watch our stream on it if you want to know what we think about it in detail.
Yeah, another tragedy is that I wasn't there to even talk about that. Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't there to talk about that one either, even though I enjoyed it a lot. And anyway, I'll stop about I'll stop molding.
Well.
Yes, this is Gazaraki. This one here, it's a bit difficult to see because of the image
Yeah. Yeah.
ratio. Um,
It's either B or C, in my opinion.
yeah, this has like the best like geopolitics of any show apart from maybe Galactic Heroes. It does really nailed like a Middle East conflict, and how that's perceived and how it's used to like test weaponry. Um, so I would put it in B.
Um. Yeah. I don't know. So basically, what they try to do with Gasera is that they try to mix some Japanese tradition with quote unquote realistic mecha. Um. And I don't really care that much for mecha being realistic. So that part of it didn't really matter to me that much. But I guess it matters to some people. Um,
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really care so much about like the realistic robots. Yeah, I mean, it's all. Yeah, for me, I think I'm the same. It's always about the characters.
which is why
Yeah.
G Gundam is higher than Gasaraki, even though it's a kid show. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, because they understand um what Mecha's all about. And it's about the power of the fighter.
Like
of the martial discipline.
I can't even remember the characters in Gasaraki really.
No, I mean
It's
it wasn't
yeah,
really. I mean they were all very dour.
not very anime like.
Anyway, no, not really. But I don't know. Also,
So
for that reason,
yeah,
it did help the show. Anyway, that's going in B.
yeah,
Yes,
Great
GTA.
Onizuka, S, yeah, obviously. Um,
Yeah, S. And this is including the manga as
Dark as
well.
well, yeah.
Um,
Um, okay, I mean,
yeah,
you're the expert, so I guess give us a few words about GTO.
it's good. Um, that's it really. I mean, you should go and see it.
Okay.
Also, you should definitely watch. You should definitely read the manga because the manga is better and it goes further than the anime. Yeah,
And
and it has like a really good message about taking responsibility as well, and like not being like a coward. Like those awful adults. You got to just you got to be a Chaz like Onizuka, right?
nice. Yeah, come to think, yeah. Well, he's a Chad and a virgin at the same time, so um,
Yes, it's true.
so yeah, it's kind of weird to think of that Onizuka is younger, probably than both of us by now. Um,
No, he's
so,
a year older than me.
oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably. Would you say it's the best anime comedy out there, or at least that you have seen?
Yes. Apart from one we're going to mention later.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if I can think of anyone which is better, but I haven't watched it. Yeah, because like once upon a time, I just when I first got into anime, I just watched comedies and nothing else for some reason. Um, I don't know. I kind of felt like like if I'm going to watch something for entertainment, would I watch something which is not going to it's just going to be make me feel not good. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so yeah, and the other thing about GTO is that um, there's a couple of live action series which are decent, which cannot be said for most anime live action, and I think probably the reason why they can do that is because like I mean the setting is not like a supernatural setting or anything like sci-fi or whatever, so there's no need for too
yeah,
much CGI or whatever. Um, though
yeah,
obviously some of those expressions which you see in the manga they can't. Some of those facial
yeah,
expressions
yeah.
and they can't really.
But in all fairness, the GTO anime like adds some extra ones, especially from the vice principal. Where that meme like when he's like driving in his Cresta and he's thinking about Onizuka and he pulls that face. The infamous expression. Yeah. I mean, the anime is also pretty good when it comes to faces, or even when Onizuka's like in his like monkey outfit and he's challenging one of the mothers to like a game of like I don't know, I can't remember, but yeah, but he also pulls like a very Mimi face there as well. Yeah. I mean, they're both really good. The anime and the manga.
Yeah, and
Honestly, like the anime should be remastered. Um,
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, and I guess the last thing about GTO is that there's a prequel manga which is not worth reading, and I believe that it actually came out before Onizuka.
it did. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It actually came before. Onizuka was a special one because it got way more successful than they expected it to. Um,
and it's still ongoing.
which is how it goes. Yeah, I think Paradise Lost is still ongoing. I
Yeah.
believe.
Um.
Um,
So yeah, but the main series is over. I mean,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's still basically a continuation of the mains. The mood is basically the same, I think.
yeah.
Which
It's still in the same school,
which I
and
guess
a lot of the characters carry over.
I guess could be a criticism. If I mean there is a plot, but at the same time, like
Yeah,
nothing.
all the characters get their own arcs and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just Onizuka, like who doesn't change essentially.
yeah.
Um, so
What
yeah.
I don't know, like in like the smaller arcs, he does change. Um, anyway, it doesn't really matter that much. Anyway,
So
moving on.
Gundam
This
Seed.
is a yes, Speed.
Did you,
I haven't seen this, so I don't know what to think about this.
um so it's hated by the Gundam community or whatever.
I
Um,
see.
I liked it. I thought it was decent. It's at least as good as Attack on Titan. Heraclius likes it too. So the reason why people don't like it apparently is because it becomes a little bit more about the drama, the teenage drama. I mean, it doesn't really become any more that much more than the original Gundam uh, or whatever. So basically, it got a lot of pop. Heraclius described it as SAO before SAO came out. So
Yeah.
it
Apparently, a frog friend in the chat is saying that there's like lots of male butts in a Gundam Seed.
it's there. Um,
But no, you tell me.
I guess I wasn't
Is it
paying
is it
attention
like
to the.
how they look in like their flight suits, like in a G Gundam, where you get a lot of a Domon's ass as well.
Yeah, I did notice that, but maybe they did, but I guess I was. I mean, there's plenty of fan service for us heteros too. I think in there.
Hmm,
Um,
interesting. I will add it to my research list. Anyway, okay. So
it's
wait, where is where's it going?
where does it go? It's not eta beta, and
See?
yeah, I guess there's some message in Gundam Seed. So basically, but it's not really that complicated. Basically, you have genetically engineered new types essentially, and normal people, and it's a war between them, and racism is bad or something. Um, so yeah, so that's the message. Um, yeah. Next, yeah, Haruhi Suzumiya. Okay. Which is it Eta or Beta? It's been a while. I mean, I'm still there, by the way. I can't.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still
Yeah,
here. I'm
yeah,
still here. Sorry.
yeah. Have you seen Haruhi Suzumiya?
Um, I've watched like bits of it. I get like what it's about, and I know that's where SOS Brigade came from. But no, I haven't really.
I think it's so basically, when Haruhi came out, it was really really popular. Um, and yeah, and it was pop. It was, but then season two came out, which had like
I heard the famous story about how they like re-showed the same story over and over again.
yeah, the end, like the so-called endless eight. So basically, for 8 weeks, every week it would be the same episode because they're stuck in a time loop. Because Harui is secretly God and she doesn't know it. But Kyon has decided not to do his homework for the
I
holidays.
see.
Um, so until he realizes this, the same day repeats itself for hundreds of years. And there's one character who is actually a supercomputer from another planet or something. Um, she's not the only one who can retain her memories, but she doesn't really do anything. Uh, Anyway, so I don't really like Harui that much. I like the aesthetic of the show, and basically those types of shows which Haru is emblematic of from that era, like back when people used to complain about, like people now complain about like every anime being an isekai. Back then, people used to complain about every anime being in a high school, and like basically, all every anime used a lot of anime used to be set in a high school, and there would be a lot of anime which were like how do you call it, urban fantasy. So basically you have some supernatural stuff happening, or not necessarily supernatural, but stuff which cannot make sense, but um, it's a normal, it's a normal, quote unquote normal Japan. I kind of
Yeah.
I found it a lot more interesting than the way that which it has gone now, when it's like a fully fantasy setting, and that's, by the way, one of the criticisms which I had about Berserk as well. Well, not the anime that much, but the manga, where like it was like the supernatural fantasy aspects were very interesting when they were rare. But then, when the supernatural and the fantasy aspect becomes the whole thing, it no longer feels that special, really. Um,
Yeah, I agree. Like, I would definitely say that early Berserk is better than later Berserk. It did sort of fall off a little bit.
yeah, and
Um,
I guess the quote unquote moral of Haruhi Suzumiya, and I guess also other shows which could be considered cute girls doing cute things, shows which Haruhi sort of fits into, but it's more of a high school comedy type of thing. But anyway, um, like usually, yeah, it's also part of another genre of anime which you don't see that much, where like it's about a school club, and the whole point of the show is basically propaganda, um, to make the viewer go out and do something. Essentially, like if it's K-On!, then like, oh, like, uh, being in a band is so comfy. Like, you should do it too. That's basically essentially what it says. And it's kind of the same with Haruhi Suzumiya. So basically, the plot is that uh, sh- there's this high school girl who doesn't know that she's actually God, or if she, um, we don't she basically is like, yeah. And another reason why it got popular was, why Haruhi got popular was that when it first aired, um, the TV series was not aired from the first episode to the last, but um, like the first episode, which like so there's a broadcasting order for the episodes, and like the actual order of the story, you know and like the first episode is taken from the very end, which is like, so basically, as part of one of Harui's plans, they make a movie, and like, it's a shitty movie that you would expect a bunch of high schoolers to be able to make, and but basically it's hinted that like there's supernatural stuff happening. There's and like the rest of the series is also not aired in in the proper order. And I guess one of the reasons why it got popular is because like people wanted to figure out what's actually happening, and if Harui is actually a goddess or not, and like actually the climax of the story. If you watch it in broadcast order, like you get to see it first. Yeah. Anyway, we should do an episode on Harui. And sorry to talk about this too much about this anime which you have not even seen.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm just curious. Like, how much does I'm guessing the broadcast order is the way to watch it, right? You
Yes,
wouldn't
yes,
like
you wouldn't
watch it normally.
yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, um, but it's not a masterpiece. I think basically Snob kind of nailed it when he basically criticized and these shows as like but by saying that like well it's a good thing that like or some people might start a band or something because they watched K-On! Or whatever, but that doesn't make these good shows in and of themselves, which you can argue about. I don't know. um so the next one is High School of the Dead. um so have you seen High School of the Dead?
No, I just know it's a oh no, I saw a fan dub of High School of the Dead.
Yeah, so unfortunately the author is dead. um I'm pretty sure Husky has watched it. It's a pity that he can't join us now. So I haven't seen it either, but from what you probably have seen the clips though, haven't you? The one where like one of the character, like it's a zombie apocalypse, and one of the protagonist is reloading the gun. Um,
Yes, yes, we've all seen those clips.
um,
Uh,
the boob physics, which I think this anime went a long way to paint what people think about anime, for better and for worse. And I don't know. I think it's a good thing that it screens out people in a way. Even though on the other hand, it means that the medium is
yeah,
the medium.
only the true men of culture will ever dare I don't know, like go down a rabbit hole.
Yes. Yeah. Because I kind of feel like um, Zarathustra's serpent has a point when he says that like a medium has got a lot of vitality when it has a lot of how should I say populist, or um like basically appealing to the lower orders as well, rather than like when it's cleans itself up to the point where like it becomes like people consider it art, and it becomes like art films where like nobody actually cares anything about them, and except the real aficionados or whatever, because like it has cleaned itself so much that it has lost all vitality. Anyway, about the show itself, from what I've heard about High School of the Dead, um, like it's a strange like there's some anti-Americanism in there, because like basically the Americans want to nuke Japan again. Like we haven't seen this before in Shin Godzilla. Whatever. I mean, um, I don't know what to make of. It's a little bit of a victim mentality, a little bit. I kind of feel like, but maybe justified or not. I don't know. Um, so that is that's one thing which it has got going for it. Unfortunately, I think that the author of the manga or the novel died, so we'll never see the end of this show. Okay, what else that to say? Oh yeah, and also like I, one of the things which I remember by seeing some of the reviews was that basically like it's kind of going for the thing which isekai is going for. So the thing or at least originally, the thing about isekai was supposed to be that, or like, oh look, you have these. Well, not really originally. Like if you look at all the isekai, like Zero no Tsukaima, it's not there, but I guess from SAO onwards, from Sword Art Online onwards, in isekai, kind of the point partly is that like um, the self-insert protagonist, who is basically the average Japanese guy, who is an otaku, is able to use his video games skills or whatever to in a productive way in this alternate universe, where those skills are somehow useful. But I don't think nowadays it's even about that. Like,
Yeah, there are transferable skills. Trust.
yeah, and I think you kind of see an early example of this here with some of the characters, who for some, I think one of them is a gun otaku or something, and it's so basically because of that he's one of the few people who welcomes, who is kind of happy that like there's like a zombie apocalypse going on, because now his skills have a use, and there's a big-titted anime girls who like him or something. Uh, so
Yeah, but in fairness, I think if you're in the proximity of beautiful women, then naturally your skills will increase, of course, to meet the environmental needs.
so I haven't seen this, so I'll put this. Let's put it in D. Didn't watch it, so
Okay, yeah, sure.
what's the next one? I can't even.
This one is Higurashi.
Okay. Yeah, another one of the classics which I have not watched, unfortunately.
No, I haven't seen it either.
So what I know about it is that it's a horror show, um, and like it's basically like Fate, in the sense that it's one of those early light novels made by a small team of basically anime fans or whatever. And like the art style is not that good in the original visual novel. Um, and like it's really convoluted, because it can be, because it was made by anime fans. And like they're stuck in this village where people are killing each other, and there's a time loop, and actually it's an experiment by aliens or something, it turns out. And the protagonist goes insane.
It's always aliens. Like, what kind of twist be? Oh yes, aliens. The aliens did it.
um, yeah, or it's the government, or something. There's some conspiracy going on, and there's cute girls who end up torturing each other. Yeah, so that's what it's about from what I've heard. I can't give it a rank because I haven't seen it. The next one is Caricano, His and Her
Oh
Circumstances.
yeah, I'm putting it in D for I didn't watch.
I see. I'm putting it. I mean, it's been a while since I watched it, but when I did watch it, I thought it was really good. I think it's probably the only straightforward romance anime by Guynet. Right? I think it was directed by Ano.
Yeah. I thought it was, and then there was some like controversy later when like the author said he made it like too funny or something. I don't know.
Yeah, basically the original manga, from what I've heard, is well, what I've heard on 4chan. So anyway, is that the original manga has a lot of more melodrama. Like the male protagonist ends up raping the girl, or almost raping the girl or something. Um, and I guess Arno didn't want to make melodrama, but then he makes Eva, so I don't know. And and some of a lot of people consider it to be like the best romance anime. And the way that the anime Snob tries to explain this is because, according to Snob, most romance anime are not really romance anime, because they're always about like uh, they're always about the courtship. Or if you could like basically like you have 500 episodes or whatever, or maybe not that many, but a lot of episodes where like
Yeah, 500 Gs.
uh, I guess the quintessential example of this would be um, Nisekoi, I think it's called, where like basically it's about the protagonist having to choose one girl, or like um, yeah, but it just goes on and on forever, and like they never end up going out together, like or even kissing or anything like. It's just endless um teasing almost. I no not I guess I were you there for the I think you were there for the Mamoru Oshii uh when he got the chance to make adapt one of Rumiko Takahashi's um, romantic comedies, basically the first big one, Urusei Yatsura, and
Yeah, I was there for that. He adapted the second film.
yeah,
Yeah, the second film, didn't he? Yeah, I was there for that.
yeah, and yeah, if you remember, like he tries to explain it as sort of he tries to explain the anime romance comedy genre as something out of a quote unquote female mind, because for a woman, like the best part of a relationship apparently is before the actual relationship starts, because like the man has to do everything. Um, for the for the girl, until but after they get married, the woman just becomes like early before they get married, and during the courtship process, she's treated as some kind of a princess. But after they get married, she's just someone's wife or something. So according to Oshi, the most exciting time for a woman is like uh, before they get together. So he tried to explain that the anime romance genre, given that it was by Rumiko Takahashi, who is a woman, um, that that although there are a lot of elements which are made to appeal to guys in the anime rom-com genre, like because basically like it's a fantasy. You have this guy um, where like this self-insert guy whom a lot of girls are attracted to, but according to Oshi, it's also appealing to women, made to appeal. It's also made essentially from a female point of view, because it's about elongating that courtship process. And so going back to his and her circumstances, so basically early on, they get together early on. So according to Snob, I guess that is why this is considered to be one of the best, because they get together and then you see kind of. I think I think it starts out very strongly, but then it loses steam. I could go on about like describing what actually happens, but I think we have talked long enough about it. So,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I was about to say like this is like the most roundabout way of explaining his and her circumstances.
have you actually seen it though?
No, I haven't. I've just heard about it, and I've heard more about the production of this than the actual show itself.
Yeah, basically they ran out of money at the end. Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Anno fucked off because he had enough.
Yeah.
So, but that's not. I mean, in terms of the premise, it's just a romance. Like, but I guess the premise is that like the girl, they're like she pretends to be like this sort of a perfectly nice girl, but actually she's just doing that because she wants to be at the top. But the guy likes both of her sides or something, and but at home, like she's sort of a lazy, a selfish slob, and who is not like who like for example, like she pretends to like be into all these like to be cultured, to be like into Dostoevsky or whatever, but actually the books which she actually likes to read are like self-help books on how like to make a lot of money, um, and stuff like that. Uh,
Yeah.
so the next,
Is it?
yeah,
Are you putting this in A then?
yes,
Okay. All right. Got it.
it's been a while since I watched it, but the last time I watched it, I liked it. I could change my mind, like I changed my mind about Area 88. I thought it was really good, but I don't know. When rewatching it, I don't know. Maybe if we rewatch it again, I might like it. I have a very bad memory, so like every time, a lot of
Yeah, I
times
know.
when I can't even remember half of the conversations that we have had. So when rewatching a show, an advantage of having a bad memory is that I can rewatch shows and enjoy them a lot more, perhaps, than.
Yeah, I'm jealous actually.
So next, it's Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
Uh, it's either A or B tier. Again, it's been a while since I watched. Have you watched it?
No, I watched most of it. I stopped, I think, for some reason. I did like it though. The episodes I did watch. I'd say it's a B tier show.
Yeah.
It's very unique. Even like the story isn't too original, but the art style, it's pretty unique. Like how they get their powers is pretty unique. Yeah, I think a B like is fair.
I think this anime filtered Argent. I think because I guess because of the fan service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a dangerously high amount of fan service as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess there's so much of it that like you kind of stop noticing it, or at least that's how it is for me. Um. Okay. What else is there to say about it? I guess it's the last. I think it's by Studio Trigger, right? And
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Studio Trigger actually broke off from Gainax. So I kind of feel like it's sort of along with Garen Lagann, which I think is also by the same studio. It's sort of like the last, the last time that uh, you know um, they went, because it's basically, if you go back to Osaku no Video, like the first thing which they made, you have the same, I don't know, how would you describe it, ethics, the same um, feeling and message. So this is basically, I think the last time which they went for that, Gainatsy, but not the Mopi Eva Gainats, but um, the other half of like over the top crazy FLCL, um, Otaku no Video, half of Gainats, that spirit, which I guess,
yeah,
yeah, which is what I
yeah.
like about it. So
And both halves are equally as horny.
what do you mean both halves? Are there two halves? Oh yeah. Oh, you
Oh,
mean of the spirit of Gainats' spirit? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
um, yeah.
Anyway, all right. Next
Net
up is is Akino's favorite show.
What was it called? Kodomo no Jikan.
Yes, that's yes.
So basically, I asked Kino for a show, um, which we might be willing to talk about on a stream.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is what he came out. I think, yeah, it's one of his favorite shows, if not his favorite, if I'm not mistaken. And what should I say about it's basically a Loricon anime. I have seen. I tried to read one. I read the first chapter, but I kind of felt like it was too pandering. Because like I kind of feel like it wanted to have it both ways. Like on the one hand, like it condemns like other characters other than the protagonist for being pedo like, but the protagonist being like that somehow is okay, which annoyed me. So let's just put it in D because I just read one chapter. Um, so
yeah,
next, oh
yeah.
god, we have
Is Akion?
um. So I guess
I think.
many of the things which I said about Arizu Suzumiya apply to Keon as well, even though I think Arizu Suzumiya is better because, like, at least like there's the hint that there might be something more going on. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would just put this in C tier. Like to be honest, I was just sort of bored watching it. I
I
mean,
basically I'm fine with slice of nothing happens. That's what Snob calls the slice of life genre in anime. He calls it the slice of nothing
yeah,
happens um, genre. I'm fine with that genre as long as there's comedy. Really, I don't know, unless there's comedy. Um, just watching. If there's comedy, even if like there's nothing happening, yeah, it doesn't bother me that much. But I think the height of this happened when we tried to watch what's it called, Hidamari Sketch, which is No Tankyo's favorite anime.
yes,
Um,
yes. That was really, really something. I think I fell asleep like twice, like accidentally when I was watching that one.
yeah, I guess in that case, even though it was even more boring than K-On! In that case, at least like they were trying to do something with the art style and making it weird. Um, Even though like it's not like there's a mystery or anything about it. But it's just very simplistic. Whereas when it comes to K-On!, I don't. I guess the animation looked cute. That's the only thing in terms of the art style and setting. Um,
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't really anything to make it bad. Um, it's just there wasn't, it didn't really go like a beyond in any way.
yeah,
It just was, it was like the logos of anime.
yeah. We were basically filtered by Moe essentially. Uh, yeah. So that's that. We are not a high level yet enough to be able to enjoy a show where literally nothing happens. Uh,
Yeah, no, we're not.
so
Yeah,
now we are going to talk about like literally the opposite of K-On!, uh,
yeah,
a Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Um, so again, some of my comments earlier when I was talking about Hashita no Jo apply to Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and um, after getting into anime, how long did it take for you to hear about Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
like 2 months. I'd say like properly. we're getting into it. It took 2 months, and then I went and saw it like a year later. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always yeah. Well, I think the last video on this channel, I spoke about it a lot, and like its qualities and how it's talked about. I guess I'll just repeat myself a bit. Everyone, it's known as like the best anime of all time. You're sort of you're doing yourself a disservice for not watching it. Um, I would agree. It probably is the best ever made in terms of story. But at the same time, it's very it's very circumstantial. Like it's it's very possible that you just get put off by its like low quality animation or something, or you're just not interested in like a space opera or something. It's like I wouldn't say it's I would say it's good. It's very good. It's the best, but it's definitely not for everyone at the same time. But yeah, it's definitely a S tier.
So yeah, it is S tier. I think the funniest moment in our streams regarding that was when, like, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I got the clips. I got a clip.
um,
Yeah, my yeah, that moment where you had a memory moment, and you said, what did you say actually? I posted it here.
um, my little dark history, instead of my little dark age, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, it was my dark little history.
yeah, my dark
It was
history.
very funny. Yeah.
Um, so in my opinion, I was thinking of another moment was when I was asked by um, God. Anyway, I was asked that like which anime is a 10 out of 10 anime, and I said Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and like, is there any other anime? And I said no, and I guess it's like the whole rank of 10 out of 10. It's just for this anime essentially. Um, yeah,
Yeah. I think this is the only anime that can actually that you can reasonably claim that for. I think you would come up with like more sort of like contradictions logically if you said, oh yeah, like Evangelion is a 10 out of 10, and another show is. So it's like, well, I mean, there's all these similar shows here, and it's kind of like a bit bad here. I mean, but Legend of the Galactic Heroes is sort of its own world, um, and it's very consistent. It's very it's it's very conscious of history and how it tells this sort of false history. There isn't really anything like it. I mean, um, I would I would just say like you should just watch it.
yeah.
I don't really like want to explain it too much because you should just watch it and to see what you think.
Another funny moment regarding Legend of the Galactic Heroes was when I was still on A server, and like the guys there were trying to argue that like um, every anime has incest and pedophilia, and that so basically I said, then what about LGH? And
Well, I mean,
they replied that there's incest with Young Wenli and Julian. Um, I think
no, no, no.
a better one would have been maybe Reinhardt and his sister, but even they're like not really. And
No, well, there is like implied paedophilia, sort of well into when Reinhardt has became Kaiser, right? And he's looking into the history of the Golden Dawn dynasty, and one of the kings didn't have any heirs of his own, and he like ran away with like his like serving boy. I guess like really like that's the only time you could say that there was like pedophilia, because it was because of this homosexual king who was attracted to his serving boys. But like it doesn't really have a pedophilia. I mean, it's like this is if you're going to talk about like based media, this is very clearly a piece of based media. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess another thing which we talked about, and I need to get him on at some point to tell us about this. Evil Florida's, so that's a guy on our server, um, claim that like all space opera anime is basically shoujo, and so basically for women, and that you can kind of see it in the art style used for the characters, that they're basically be shown in characters. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that Legend of the Galactic Heroes is like too autistic to like be that. I mean, I guess like maybe you could argue that Kirk like some of the character designs like Kirk's character design is kind of like is kind of goes in that direction, but I mean, like most of the designs are like fairly realistic looking. I mean, this like again like Legend of the Galactic Heroes probably has like some of the most like realistic looking like people in it. It's not really that anime.
yeah, and also like it was adapted by like a quote unquote real novel rather than a light novel. So
Yeah,
basically, yeah.
well,
Um,
it's actually like multiple parts. I think there's like 8 books to the original like the original novels.
I think the audio book for the first three novels is up on Nia. No, sorry, I mean Audible. Um, yeah, so I might torrent. I mean, pay for it and
Yeah,
see because I've heard that the novels are not as good as the anime is. Um, yeah, or at least I don't hear that many people praising the novels that much really. So so the
no,
next,
I mean, yeah, the novels have their problems. It's a lot of it is like in translation though. Like I know the third novel isn't very well translated, but yeah, anyway.
yeah, stupid English translators. Anyway, so so the next one I kind of feel like is kind of overrated. Um, the original Gundam. I
Uh,
I didn't really. I mean, I didn't really feel like it was that good. If you have seen Ideon, again by Yoshiyuki Tomino, the guy who directed, who made Gundam essentially, or it's basically his creation. It's not an adaptation or anything. Um, I kind of feel like all of those ideas were already there in Ideon, um, and I don't know. Like I didn't feel like I cared about because I guess Gundam is sort of, or at least that's how it was sold to me. Like an anime which is supposed to show war more realistically. Um, it was the original, or rather the one which popularized real robo anime. Like earlier when we were talking about Gasaraki, we talked about like how they were trying to make mecha more realistic, and Gundam was an example of something. which moved in that direction. Another thing which I've heard about the original Gundam was that um, originally it was actually more popular with the female audience because they like some of the male characters. Um,
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah, well, there's a very interesting thing with like the male protagonists, like from like very early anime. Like you see it a bit in Gundam, but you see it in a lot in like shows like Speed Racer, where like the protagonist is just like this like psychopath, basically. It's so funny. But yeah, like Amuro is a very interesting character. Um, like at one point, like he's gonna be sort of taken off piloting a Gundam, and so he just says, "Well, you know, I was going to bury the Gundam now in this desert." It's it's sort of it had this very timely energy. I really don't think stories like this were like the protagonist does like do when the protagonist does these sort of crazy things. I don't really think that can like happen anymore. I don't know.
so basically, the you can kind of see it a little bit in Ashita no Joe as well. Like the protagonist is very selfish, but it's like a sort of like, oh, that's what makes him masculine, like that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I kind
Yeah,
of,
it is.
yeah,
It is like very masculine. You know, like Amuro like does act. He's like childish, but like he is also like a very a masculine character. All like all the characters really are masculine, apart from the pilot of like of a gun of a gun cannon or something, or a gun tank. I can't remember which. They got they have stupid names.
yeah. I also, I guess another thing which I did not like about it was that like um basically like we are stuck on this one ship which is not like they're not directing the war, or like it's not like Legend of the Galactic Heroes where like the decisions which they make like have an obvious consequence. So it's like they're just being constantly chased. um they are not they are not it's not really their decision with why anything happens. And sometimes I'm not even sure what the hell like the war situation is, or like why I should even care whether the Federation or Zeon or whatever, Neo Zeon or the third Zeon is winning or losing the war. Like sometimes like they will just say like, oh, so 2/3 of 90% of the Federation forces were destroyed, but like that doesn't really make any difference. Um, Especially from the perspective of the
Yeah, of like a ship.
yeah.
Yeah, of the white base. Is what it's called. Yeah. Hey, apart from like I didn't watch the show. I watched the films, which were like video series, but like edited down into like 6 hours or something. I can't remember like how long it was. But yeah, like you only really saw like actual consequences in like the last film, where like all of like where Xeon all of Xeon High Command is getting killed. When like when Carl is like firing firing a rocket launcher into a ship, and that's like killing his like his cousin, I think. But yeah, like you don't like the consequences aren't really like such a big deal. I mean, I guess that might be a problem of having like so many episodes. You kind of have to keep things going somehow. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
I think what they were going for is that like basically like there's this ship, and the people on this ship have been basically abandoned by everyone. And I think um, they did that a lot better in Ideon, where like everybody dies at the end. Um, by everybody, I mean the entire universe or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say this is a C tier
Uh,
show.
Also, by the way, Arno really liked Ideon, so you can kind of see where he got the idea for the ending of Eva. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, see, there was something else I wanted to say about it, but yeah, um,
It's finally something we can like talk about a little
yeah,
bit more.
I think it has more historical value um than it has value, yeah, like quality or whatever. I didn't really like it that much. So, because like if you remember the streams with Heraclius and the others, like sometimes like they would talk about character development, uh, as well as I don't know if you were there for the Zeta Gundam discussions as well, and I'm like, which has supposedly happened off screen or something, or like talking about what the characters were thinking, but it didn't
Yeah,
really,
it's so funny.
it didn't it didn't really seem to me like that, like the characters were thinking about anything, because as you said, like they were acting like brats, especially the protagonists, like so impulsively that like what
Yeah,
what like what character development are you talking about? And also the whole new type thing where like they like immediately understand each other um at once. um yeah, anyway, let's move on.
yeah, yeah.
Monster. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of my favorites. Um, it's very cozy, despite the subject matter. It's
Mm,
this isn't S tier, of
yeah,
course.
I wouldn't.
It's it does have like pacing problems, um,
It just
in a major way.
it just becomes like it just becomes a road trip around Germany, around the time of the Berlin Wall or something, or afterwards. And I don't know.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just like they're just going around. Like there's this cycle going around, but the protagonist is going around like being Jesus, like helping everyone. Like um, yeah,
yeah. But it's very comfy, and you do like the mystery of what happened with Johann and his sister is also very like well done as well. Like you would like slowly get pieces, and then there's some like
I mean,
then there's some ambiguity um, introduced later as well, which is actually quite good.
I don't remember it
Um,
being that good. I mean, like,
no, okay.
I mean, like,
I mean, at least like some of the action scenes, and it's got good side characters like as well. Like they're all like very well developed. Um,
I think the problem is that the author, the mangaka, has a problem of dragging out things too long, and like the reveal at the end and the conclusion is not that satisfying. If you have, there's another series by this guy called 20th century 20th century boys, which I guess you probably need to read just because of how crazy it is. But like at the end, I kind of feel like the ending didn't really deliver. I mean, we could talk about the ending of Monster at some point later on, I guess. Um,
yeah. No. Oh
I
yeah. I can. We, we can watch the whole show again. I'm up for that. We can like talk about it.
I think it will come up because it's again, or at least it was considered to be a classic when I got into anime. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't know. I kind of felt like it was kind of meaningless, like the whole final arc and everything. But I guess we can talk about later. So but still, overall, as you said,
Yeah.
the atmosphere is pretty good. So maybe C is too harsh. It's not A, but B. Uh,
I'm gonna say A.
mm. So,
But I guess yeah, we'll put it in B. But my
who
my
knows?
secret and
Yeah.
desire is for it to be
I
an
mean,
A.
who knows? Maybe on a rewatch, I like it more. There's been many cases like that now. Um, at least a few.
Yes.
So yeah,
Um.
yeah.
Next is a rare one. This one is Nightwalker. We spoke about this a while ago. Um. The, it's about it's like 80s Japan or like 90s Japan, and it's about a vampire
Yeah, yeah.
who goes and solves vampire and supernatural related murder mysteries, and then the series ends prematurely. uh,
So it's basically
yeah,
satire, right?
yeah,
And I don't know. Maybe there's more to the story, but like I think it's a game. It's adapted from a game, and
it is. Yeah,
it's not translated. So we'll never know. Uh,
yeah. It definitely felt like it wasn't that it got sort of cancelled. Maybe like halfway through.
or,
I'm
or
not sure.
or maybe more likely it was just like a lot of OVAs and stuff were back then. Like it was just and still are. It was just advertisement for the source material.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Good point.
so the
Yeah, C tier.
next one is Please
Oh
Teacher.
yeah, we got two. We got two good ones coming up.
Okay,
Um,
so Please Teacher. So the teacher is an alien, right?
yes, she is.
For some reason,
Um,
and
and she falls in love with one of the students. It's it's kind of weird. And but some of the time the comedy does land. And also the protagonist like also has like lock-in syndrome or something where like he will just like slip into a coma and he will just like sleep for like 2 years or something. And so like he always has to deal with that. So there are things that like are going on. Um, but I mean it really is. It's just a romantic comedy about a alien teacher trying to get with one of her younger male students.
yeah,
But
recently.
actually, he's not he's not actually underage because his coma means that like his body uh, looks like either like a 15-year-old's body or something, but like his mind like mentally he's like 20 or something. I don't know. I can't remember it too well. So it's actually okay. Yeah.
Bravo on coming up with that excuse to the like the teacher is not really a teacher. Like she's not even human. So
Yeah, exactly.
and the little boy is not actually a boy. Uh, so and to be fair, like they do try to like create a little bit of drama about it.
This is D.
Yeah.
This is just like classic D material. I don't know what to say. It's
And
okay.
the as in and Dick. And recently, I don't know. Kino will probably not like this stream because he recently told me that he thought it was pretty good. Um, he thought that
Yeah.
PlayStation was pretty good. So next we have Police Twins.
Yes, which is worse than the police teacher, so it should probably go into F. This is probably like on a like technical level. like a story level, character level, this is probably the worst entry here. I think like I almost went mad when I was watching this just because of like how dumb this was.
Yeah, so the premise was that like the protagonist, there are two girls, and the protagonist doesn't know which one of them is the is the her sister, her twin, so his twin sister. So yeah, so that's the premise, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's pretty obvious um who it is. I mean, but I don't know. It's I can't. It's actually difficult to sort of like describe what happens. There's lots of story stuff about like he's trying to like to keep the house afloat because like his parents have died. You know, where it's one of circumstances where there aren't any like adults around, and so he's like stuck alone with like two girls who may or may not be his sister. You know, sounds are familiar, and and then
We have all
oh
been
my
there.
god,
We have all been there for a minute.
it's like so dumb, man. Like I don't know. I really just can't describe it. I don't know why why I watched like every episode as well. Like that's the worst part. I mean, yeah, like I'm just gonna say like this is like an F. It's not worth watching this at all. I mean, like there's probably like hentai that have like better stories than this show. I don't
So
know. Anyway,
so the next one is the incest anime, or at least it was until people forgot that it exists, and that's Oreimo. There used to be a trend of like a lot of anime just being called Ore, and then because Oreimo is not the actual name of the anime Oreimo, like it's just a shortening of the light novel title. So like people would give it a, it would like get baptized with like a shortened name, like you have that with Oregairu, and there were a bunch of other ones which I can't remember. But like they're not related in any way. Like it's just a trend which began with this anime, and I guess the reason why this one gets criticized a lot of the time, um, so um, yeah, so so it's another one of those like where like oh like it's supposed to be incest, but no, like at the last moment, the author chickens out and says no, it's not actually, they're not actually related, guys. Um, yeah. Um, Other than that, it's also kind of otaku propaganda kind of show. Basically like otaku no video, because the blonde girl which you see there is really into, what are they called? Otome games, I think. Yeah, I think that's what they're called. So, otome games, and there's a lot more than you would expect. Basically, dating sims like visual novels, except they are made for girls. So basically, like the protagonist is usually some bland, self-insert, average Japanese girl, whom a lot of the time is basically she just goes to sleep, and the next morning she wakes up or rather like um at this point, more than otome games, I would say that like stories which have like which are about like a girl being waking up inside an otome game, like basically um because a lot of these otome games are set in like sort of a pseudo fantasy setting, and like the protagonist is usually some princess or whatever, and like all the knights and the princess and the dukes or whatever, like won't want to go out with her, and like she has to choose one, and like you as the player, as you're playing from the perspective of one of this girl, you have to choose one, and like there's a subgenre of a, a manga and also a lot of Korean webtoons which are about like some girl, some the average Korean woman or whatever. Like she wakes up as one of the characters, either the heroine or the villainess, because like there's an evil woman in there. Anyway, I've gone off topic. Um, and I guess
Yeah, I
it's
know. I know about your like villainess light novel addiction.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And so basically, the premise of those stories is usually that it's like the average Korean woman or Japanese woman or whatever. Like she wakes up inside, either inside a novel or inside an otome game. But the novel is basically has a plot basically similar to an otome game. And but rather than waking up, it sort of at first began as a twist, like rather than becoming like the princess or whatever in your favorite novel, you become the villainess, and like she has to like uh, prevent getting murdered or whatever, like getting one of the bad ends, because like like basically in the either in the novel or in the otome game, usually like obviously the villainess would get a bad ending, right? um so the whole point is to try to change it, but usually like it just happens too easily, so it's not really that interesting to watch. um so yeah, so basically she plays these otome games, and I can't remember most of it, but I did enjoy it. I think Heraclius didn't like it. It was a bit too much for him. I'll put it in A tier. Yeah, it's pretty much there. There's another series by this author which is not as good, and which you probably have heard of because of somebody called Garrett. I think that's what that and the series I'm talking about is Eromanga Sensei. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have heard of it.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. So basically, it's so
It's wow.
when it comes to incest anime, I actually B tier would be more appropriate, not A tier. It's maybe too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
If you want some incest anime, then
uh,
that's where you go, I guess. If
I,
that's like your thing or
I
something. I
mean,
don't know.
I guess the problem with this one is that, or at least with this, or which people, when they look at this type of series, what they usually point out is that um, like that they don't, that it's like the whole thing is not taken seriously. Like there's almost no melodrama or anything. Like it's basically a comedy. So it's yeah. So that's basically the criticism which people usually give to this type of this type of show. And I guess there's an exception to that, and that would be Koikaze, if you have heard of it, which, according to Snob and according to me as well,
No.
is so basically it's an incest anime, but they actually take it seriously, like rather than just being a joke like it is here and most everywhere else.
It just sounds like a laugh a minute.
Sorry,
It just sounds like a laugh a minute.
what's laugh a minute?
Taking your incest subplots seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
anyway, are we going to move on now?
yes, enough about this one. Uh,
I will say I'm glad I only like chose 50 and that I didn't do like 70 or something because like this has taken way longer than I anticipated.
um, okay, why is Misfit talking about his bowel movements in the chat? Anyway,
Like, you know,
yeah, well, somebody's
he
got to do
feels
it.
he feels very comfortable around us.
Okay, so next, yeah, I think I mistakenly told him that today it would be the Karl Popper uh, chat on the Open Society, and maybe that's why he's here. I'm sorry, Misfit, if that's why you were here, uh, and instead you have to listen to this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
although
s-
when actually is the Karl Popper stream
it should
if
be
it's going to happen.
if it's it should be tomorrow. Yeah, I should ask Zarathustra and Heraclius if they could come earlier, a couple of hours. Uh, that would really make it convenient for me, but we'll see what happens. If they could at least come by 2, then
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like herding animals sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Next, it's Otaku no Video. Um,
yes, a classic.
it's a classic, but it's not S tier, is it? Let's be honest.
No, it's not. It's not. It's like C.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like arguably, like half of it isn't even anime. I mean, all of the best parts of this aren't animated,
Yes.
as I said before.
Uh,
Um, but
Family Guy
it's
is
it's
more of
not
an
bad.
anime. Yeah. Um.
Yeah, it's true. I would
E.
say like C, or like B. I would actually put it in B because
Okay. B then. Yeah.
it's interesting enough.
Yeah. I think. Okay. So what's the problem with it? Yeah. It's just not very like. Yeah. Um. The fantasy anime fantasy part is just not that good. I mean it's just interesting from a historical kind of point of view, and it's also not that long.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah,
it's
two
yeah, and
episodes. Yeah.
and the comedy's pretty good as well. Where like they like go interview like what where they do like these fake interviews and like one guy is like videotaping all of the anime and the television shows he sees on television. Another guy is like LARPing as like a soldier. Another guy is like is trying to cover up his like anime addiction or something
Yes.
at work. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, and another one is like playing a visual novel. Um, I,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
and I don't know, like basically salivating in front. Like, anyway, um, so the next one is
yeah, yeah. This yes, a panty and stocking.
I would say it's at least A tier, or maybe
Is it A tier? I would say it's lower.
okay then B.
Um,
Um, yeah, B. Why not?
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of feel like let's see if I can find his review pages of review.
yeah. I mean, you know, it feels more like a Western cartoon actually. It's more episodic. And for that reason, like, it wasn't as engaging as it could have been because it was episodic and there wasn't really much consequence, really to like what was going on. Um, that's like that's my criticism of it. Other than that, like it was just like a very fun experience.
Um. So yeah. Um. Yeah. It was a. I think. I don't know. Let's see if I can find pages of review of because he was very vocal about his dislike. So Pages is a guy. Let's just call him Pages. He's a guy on our server um, who makes anime reviews on Cities, essentially. Um, let's see if I can find him. I can't find him. No, I can't. I yeah, I think he was. If I could remember his criticisms, let's see. Um, Talk about Paranoia Agent. I'm looking for. Since I'm looking
Okay,
for this one.
okay. Yeah, I mean, Paranoia Agent. Um, Most people probably know about this. If they've heard of Satoshi Kon. This was, I think, the only television show he directed. And what it was it's sort of like this sort of anthology show, but also it's all one story as well. And what it was is all his sort of odd ideas or ideas he couldn't really make into films or other things he threw into this television show. And it created this very weird sort of a paranoid, you could say, show. How, for that reason, it's kind of unfocused. Some episodes are amazing, others aren't so good. It's very dark as well. The the music is good, of course. I mean, like Satoshi Kon's stuff always has good music. I mean, like that's not really much of a um. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's not amazing because of its sort of anthology style. Um, you do get some main characters to begin with, but halfway through the series, they get fired from their job because a boy dies in their custody, and so then we sort of go off on like little side stories where less interesting things happen. And again, like yeah, I think I should mention also that all through the show there's a antagonist, and there's a boy. He has like this like metal baseball bat, and he like roller skates around, and he like bashes people around the head, like seriously injures them, and sends them to hospital. And he will appear to people when they're feeling incredibly sort of cornered, paranoid, anxious about their situation. And so there's a lot of ambiguity, um, in the show, and I'm not going to spoil it, obviously. I don't think I actually said anything about. I don't think I did spoil it. I think I said like one spoiler. But yeah,
The ending is very disappointing,
there
I
were-
would say.
yes, yes, and the ending is disappointing as well. But I can't rate it too highly. Um, I would say this is like a C tier. It's worth watching if you're a fan of Satoshi Kon's work, though.
Unfortunately, I'm not. So, but I did watch it, and I thought that it was probably the best thing which he made because I didn't like Perfect Blue
No,
that much, unlike most
oh
other
no,
people.
that's no, well, wrong, no, wrong opinion.
Oh, it's the next one. I see. Anyway, going back to Pantheon stocking, I pasted the link to the review in in the description. So yeah, so let's see his complaints about Pantheon stocking. Poop
Uh,
is funny. People wake up. Yeah, I think. Um, let's see. It's not that long, but uh, da, 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 so he's going to compare it to um. Yeah, I'm not sure what its complaint really is. He said, yeah, I guess the first episode, the gag in the first episode about the toilet which sucks people wasn't really that funny. Um, Whatever. Yeah, yeah, it's still under construction, so Yeah, and he's complaining about the fact that like there's no explanation for panties. Why did they become a weapon? I don't know.
Oh my god, we still have like 16 to go.
Anyway, in that case, let's just move on with the next one, Perfect Blue.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is S tier.
Mm, I
Are you
don't know.
doing are you doing like your Marge Simpson impression?
Pretty much, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's a decent thriller. There are some cool visuals, and that's it, really. Like, okay, oh, Japanese idol culture is dark. I get it. Okay. Um. Okay, whatever. And like, okay, what exactly do you like so much about Perfect Blue?
Like there's absolutely no fat, right? Like everything that happens on the screen is kind of there for a reason. And it all sort of comes together to try and tell like this sort of deeper story. I mean, idol culture isn't that interesting. I mean, but it's told in such a way where like it transcends the subject matter, and it becomes this amazing film. Plus it's not just about like how being an idol sucks, or something. There's also like genuine danger as well, and it's very well done. Like how you like understands so easily what Amima is feeling and like why she feels these things in her situation. Plus, like this film has like so much rewatchability. Like you can rewatch this film like 4 times and get like a different interpretation. Like also it looks amazing. It has that nice sort of 90s washed out um look to it too. The music's good. Um, yeah, it's just great. It feels like a real classic. I mean, like a classic thriller.
Okay, I'll settle for 8i then.
Okay, that's acceptable.
I,
I've
I
I've convinced you.
no, I mean I just don't feel for the protagonist. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So the next one is Prison School. I think I read some of the manga, but I didn't really watch the anime.
Oh
Is
man, you're missing out. It's so funny.
I guess I've heard a lot of people complain about the ending of the manga, so I didn't feel like watching it. But I guess it's a comedy, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, I will say just very quickly about the manga. In the manga, like where the anime ends, it does fall off like quite hard. I don't like. I think that first arc when like the boys go to prison and they like plot to escape or not get expelled. That's like the best part of the story. I kind of stopped reading the manga after that first arc because like the arc afterwards isn't really that great. Um, but anyway, as for the anime, this is probably like the funniest anime I've ever watched. Obviously, I can't really like describe it because like you don't really know like what I will be referring to, but especially like midway through, where where they've developed all these like layers, like Andre is like is his masochist, um, and the protagonist and the long head guy they're like plotting, and then like the blonde haired guy he sort of thinks that like they're in like a gay relationship, and like things happen that are just like so perfect, you know. I, I don't like I don't want to spoil it, but it's really good comedy where like the layers of like misunderstandings are like the plots and like and the character complexes are like layered so that it just creates like this very funny these these very funny situations.
Right, right. Yeah, it does sound pretty funny. Maybe it's something we could talk about. So where would you
Yeah.
rank this?
Also the intro is amazing.
Yeah,
Prison, I in a prison.
yeah.
Anyway,
I guess it's unfortunate. It's one of those series where like, um, yeah. I mean, it's not the only one. I've seen it happen a lot of times. Like a lot of manga start out strong, get popular, um, get a good anime adaptation, but then because they got popular, they drag out and become shit. And an example of this is, of course, Attack on Titan. Um, yeah. So,
yeah, I'd say this is B tier. If we're gonna put Panting Stocking in B, then this should be B as well. I think it's only fair.
Utena. Okay, that's another stream that maybe we could repeat because the
Yeah,
people.
I wasn't there for this one either, and I really did want to be there for this one. I actually like I made a painting because of like one of the characters like caught my imagination. But yeah, it's it's fascinating, Utana. Like to be honest, it's on the one hand, it's this very sort of chirpy high school, like weird, like audible high school anime, but it's also very dark, and it gets very dark as well. Um, also there's like three different like incest plots at one point. It's kind of like crazy. I don't know, like it's very it's not for everyone.
I mean, there's a lot of competition for the best incest anime out there. Uh,
Yes, yeah, very true.
yeah,
um,
yeah. Oremo would be more in the incest comedy. This is
yeah, it
more.
would. This is like drama comedy, you know, like sort of thing. I don't know. I can't really I can't really put it into a genre. I probably could if I tried a little bit, but I don't want to.
I mean, there's a lot of absurd stuff going on in Utena. Uh,
Yes, but it's all explained.
yeah, well, the project, come on. uh,
Yeah. It's all a projection. It's like it's all a dream, you know.
right. I think, yeah, I think during the conversation that we had on this channel, it it didn't go right. Come to think of it, all the streams that didn't go right are the ones where you weren't on for some reason. So
Oh.
anyway, um,
Yeah,
what?
you would need my like nervous energy to like bring some tension into the room.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it was just that we sort of came to the conclusion that um because like we wanted to talk about like how subversive this is and whatever, but like
yeah,
it really wasn't that subversive or quote unquote revolutionary. Um,
not really. I mean, it was very I mean, like you know, heterosexual, you know, like opposite sex, like not regular relationships aren't shown in the best lights. But I do think in this show, like there are actually like some stable relationships between like a boy and a girl. Like I don't know. Um,
but also like um this show is sometimes kind of sold as like Evangelion, but for girls or something.
Nah,
Nah.
that's not. I mean, I was. It does like parody Evangelion a bit with the with like the club meetups and things, you know.
Yeah. What I mean is that by a subversion, I didn't only mean like a as in subverting society or whatever, but also that like Evangelion is also sometimes described as like a subversion of mecha or something.
Yeah, which isn't really true. I mean,
It's just yeah. Uh, and I guess in Utena is not really a subversion of shoujo either, really. Um,
no, it's I- it really is its own thing. I don't, you know, it's it has amazing direction. It's the music is great. I think you're correct when you said like only one track is like worth like saving into a playlist or something. But in the context of the show,
it's
it actually it does have like a very good sound.
it's called something Aphrodite. I think. Yeah, the track. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I know this show like does get criticized for like its reused animation. Um,
didn't really bother
it's not
me.
it's not too bad. Although it is noticeable. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Anyway,
How would you rank it? Hmm,
I'd say this is a B tier. Um,
same here.
there we
Um,
go.
yeah.
Here's another rare anime.
So, Lodos. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we did this back when like we used to do the thing where like we talked for half of the time about A's streams and then um
Yes, we did.
anime. It's basically anime Dungeons and Dragons before Dungeons and Dragons became retarded as it has become, or at least as I'm told, it has become by all the fans. Uh, Probably
Yeah.
the best adaptation of D&D into any other medium. I mean, like what they're out there, like there's the D&D movie, which apparently sucks. That's it. So
Yeah. I mean, it is parodied a lot. But yeah, like this is probably like the best direct adaptation of D&D.
and it's also based on a D&D campaign, like literally. Um,
Yeah, I mean it's called a record of a Lodos War. So there was obviously a campaign called
um,
a Lodos War, right?
um, Recently there was another anime which got popular, which was adapted from a tabletop session, not from Dungeons and Dragons, but from Sword World. Um, and the Sword World is basically um, Japanese D&D, and Sword World came into existence because basically the guys who made Lotus War wanted to make a supplement based on their D&D sessions, but basically the people, and they can try to contact the D&D company or whatever, the guys who own the rights for D&D, but they didn't really reply. They they weren't interested, so they made their own game called Sword World. Um, and the setting in Sword World, uh, like the default setting is the setting in Lodos War, and or at least in Sword World 1.2, I think in the second version it's a different setting. And the reason why I know all this is because if you remember, I did the quote unquote interview with the fan translators of
Oh yeah,
Sword
I
World.
do remember that. Wow, that's yeah.
And
Yeah, that was like a year ago at this point. Wow.
yeah, uh, and and the other anime which I was talking about, which came out recently, which was based on uh, uh, um a session, or not a session, but a campaign, I guess. Or basically, a bunch of guys playing Sword World, which is basically Japanese D&D. Is except like I've tried to understand a bit how the game works, and it's a bit different than D&D, basically because um, in Japan, fantasy video games became popular before tabletop RPGs came to Japan, and because of that, um, like the combat in Sword World happens like on a grid. Um, Basically, like in a JRPG, like if you remember all the JRPGs, like you have um, like the characters come forward and like they each get a turn, and like they can't move around or something. You can only select what you will do from a menu, right? Um, I guess a bit like when in Pokemon, like you have those matches where like you have more than one Pokemon and you have to like choose. So it's basically sort of like that. Like it's divided into a grid. So it's a bit more video game like. Anyway,
Yeah.
the other anime was Goblin Slayer, the one where like the first episode is basically bait because like there somebody gets a girl, an anime girl gets raped, but then it after that, and because of that it got a lot of attention, but then after that it's just your harem anime. And yeah, apparently, so basically the Goblin Slayer was an NPC, an unplayable character in the campaign that the author of the manga used to play. But like the players got very interested uh, in that character who was just obsessed with killing goblins and nothing else, and that's how that became a series. And there's also other TV series set in, I can't remember the names now though, set in the same setting as Lotus War. Um, yeah. Anyway, how would you rank it?
This. I think it's obvious that the intention wasn't to make an anime. But at the same time, it's very comfy. You do care about the characters, the relationship between the protagonist and the elf girl. So yeah, like I would I would say this is like C tier.
GTA, yes. Yes. Um, so next is Sakura Wars. I watched a few episodes and it was pretty interesting. Um, but I didn't watch the whole thing, and my sister says that it just degenerates because my sister did watch the whole thing. She said that it just degenerates into like a bunch of cat fights. So also this is based on a video game. The opening is very good if you have seen it. It's basically like I think so you have steampunk robots piloted by cute girls because only cute girls are able to pilot these robots for some reason. But the protagonist is an exception. He's the only guy who can also pilot these robots. But the protagonist basically gets he basically just disappears, and it's mostly about the girls essentially. Um, so you have steampunk robots, but also for some reason they are also ballet dancers. Yeah, I'm not really clear about what it's about, so it goes into detail. Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Uh,
All right.
Lane.
Yeah. Oh, let's all love Lane. Yeah, super. Like I think this was described as like avant-garde, which is probably accurate. I mean, um, though I will say it's definitely low budget. I think really this was it. The show is saved by the character design, and also like the amount of writing, as well, like the like trippy, you, like no, it's not. I don't really know like how best to like praise it. The atmosphere is very good. Um, it does a lot with very little resources. But it's it's also like very stilted, and very confusing. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like also it's quite difficult to watch like f- for a second time. It does get like kind of boring like once you know like what what happens.
I would say it's A tier basically. A if not B. Uh, Probably. Uh,
Okay,
I mean, what do you think it should be? B tier?
yeah, B tier.
Okay, then let's put it in B tier. Also agree. It's another one of. I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't know. Maybe it might have been prophetic or whatever at the time it came out, but
Yeah, well,
now, yeah,
it's called prophetic because the writer at the time read a bunch of like technical um journals, and so like really it's those journals like those yeah, like really it's those academic journals that were prophetic, less like the show, though the show just popularized the idea a bit.
yeah. I think the problem is that after the prophecy has come true, the prophecy is not that interesting anymore. Basically, um, like
Yeah,
yeah, like what I mean is that like at that time maybe it was easier to like make it scary and all that horror stuff which is there here. But after the fact, okay, now we have it. So and it's shit, but it's not scary anymore because it's you know it.
yeah, it's just like mundane.
Yeah. Uh,
And yeah, next is a Shiking, which is another one we talked about. It's a vampire. Um, yeah, so it's about a doctor um that is called into this town to like deal with like these like weird like medical cases, and then it turns out it's actually vampires.
I can't remember. Was it called in or was it from the town? I can't remember now.
I'm sorry.
Was the doctor from the town or? Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I he might, yeah, I think he was from the town. Um,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He does try to escape, I think. But then like it turns out that like they have like infiltrated other police branches as well. So like you can't leave. It's pretty good. Um, there's also some like OVA episodes as well that are like pretty brutal.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think also I think that the OVA episodes you're supposed to watch them like they're in the middle of the series, right? Yeah,
yes, yeah.
I think
Um,
yeah, uh,
it's it's kind of like a very like realistic in terms like of killing the vampires. This is like it's very unrealistic because like instead of just like limply shoving like a crucifixes like vaguely into the heart area, which is what you see in like a lot of vampire shows. In Shiki, like there's like a two-step where like you have to like hold down like the vampire, and then like you like align the crucifix, and then like you get like a mallet, and then like you have to like actually like hammer the crucifix in. Like it was a lot more like realistic. If you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it does a bit like a little bit degenerate into like maybe degenerate is a bit too harsh, but like it goes a bit into like the cliche of like are the real monsters us humans after all kind of territory, but it's fine. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
is it beta or zeta?
it's a C tier.
Yeah,
I
CT.
wanna. I
Yeah.
also like secretly want to put more in C, because in theory, um, like C and B tiers should be like the biggest, because they're like the average. but anyway,
Mm.
um,
So what was?
next
Yeah.
this is Shinseki Yori.
Did you watch it?
No,
I did. Um,
okay,
so I believe that this one again is adapted from like a quote unquote a real novel rather than light novel. It sort of has a shoujo aesthetic. It's a post-apocalyptic setting, which is spoilers, but whatever. But it looks like ancient Japan. Um, basically, I don't know. Should I spoil that? Maybe I should spoil it anyway because like the way maybe because like there's so few episodes. Um, let me check. Was it 13 or 26? But anyway, it was very few. Um, like you have there's one episode where like there's this talking snail, which is like a library from the past civilization, which basically explains the whole story thing about what's going on, how there used to be psychics, um, and who murdered the majority of the human population. Uh, yeah, I don't want to this book. I'm not bothered anymore. So I don't want to describe it, but uh, I guess it's CT. A lot of people think it's a masterpiece or whatever. I don't
yeah,
think so. CT.
okay. I have no opinion.
So
Okay, right.
the good stuff.
Yes.
So what are online?
Yep.
Have
I
you
don't know.
have you watched it?
I don't. Yeah, I watched like the first few episodes, just out of curiosity. I just wasn't like interested in like what was happening really. So yeah, I mean, it's not really like the sort of thing I watch anyway.
Ah,
Though I will say that I don't quite have the hate boner for it that some people have for it. It's not the worst thing ever. Basically, I would just say C. It's just average.
I guess what I didn't like about it was like the whole like woe is me, like the protagonist acts like a victim in the first season anyway, I guess. And I guess the first season is really the only one which is relevant to anything anymore. Uh, what's that to say? I mean, everybody knows that like it popularized isekai, even though I don't. It may or may not technically be considered to be an isekai because they're not really. It's not really like they're going to another. It's not a fantasy world. It's they are just stuck in a video game. Um, like that world doesn't really exist. Um,
Yeah, I always wondered about like the logistics of of being stuck in a video game. Like anyway, like like are you like unconscious? But like if you're unconscious, like you still have like bowel movements. And like when like they all wake up, have they like
Basically,
all
yeah.
shout themselves.
Basically, yeah,
Is what I'm trying to ask.
yeah. So basically, in SEO, like it's because all these young people are stuck. These people are stuck in the video game. A lot of people basically, yeah, just die because there's nobody to look after their body. And when the protagonist wakes up, o- o- he's sort of he's in a like his muscles have atrophied, and he's in a hospital bed. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Uh,
Uh, that's funny. Okay, right. Um, so
so,
what where we playing it then?
uh, where do we put it? Sita. Okay, maybe Dita.
Okay,
Uh,
that's fine. I don't care.
uh,
Right then.
Steins Gate. Have you watched it? No, right?
No, no. I've just seen like media about it.
And yeah, I think we should definitely talk about that one
Yeah.
soon. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's about. It's not spoilers to say that it's about time travel. It's also about conspiracies, but it's also funny in a way because, so basically, the protagonist kind of laughs as a mad scientist who is being hunted down by an evil organization or whatever, and he just wants to bring chaos or whatever. And basically, all the things which he says as a joke end up being true, essentially. Yeah, I thought it was a very good mystery, very good message. It's either A or S tier. Let's go with S tier. Why not?
Okay, let's go.
Uh,
Next is Strike Witches. I don't
uh
know if you've seen that.
no, I've seen some
No.
doujinshi, but that doesn't count. So,
Okay, right. Yeah, I haven't either.
uh,
What's
so,
it? What's it?
uh, so yeah, I mean, their series, yeah, which anyway, which are more known for their doujinshi than the series itself. So,
Okay.
what's the next one called?
Next is Tales from Earthsea.
I have,
Um,
I think I haven't
having
F right.
yes. Having seen all the Ghibli films, this was like really bad. This film was like directed by Miyazaki's son. Goro Miyazaki. He has like directed good stuff, obviously, but this was like a real stinker. I mean, uh,
I heard that Miyazaki walked out of one of his son's films.
yes,
Was it this one?
it was this one. Yeah, it was this film that he walked out of. But he has made good films, like from Up on Poppy Hill is a good film he's made, for example. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's not talk about
yeah. I guess
this.
artistic talent is not always genetic. So the next one is the Big O.
Yes.
Uh, I would say it's beta. What do you think?
Yeah. BT is fair. It's just a comfy show. There's a bit of mystery about how around how everyone's like lost their memories.
Yeah,
Um,
and
yeah.
yeah, but basically, I just didn't feel like the reveal was that impactful. Like, okay, like basically, like everything is fake. This is a TV series. Uh, uh,
Yeah, it
it,
was. Yeah, it's weird. It's this is like Batman, but with like giant robots, and it's like more like meta. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think I remember Heraclius disagreed that it's like Batman or whatever, but don't really know. Um, anyway, let's move on. I'm getting tired. Welcome to the NHK.
Yeah,
Esther. or A tier or
I
TL.
think
I don't know.
I think this is A tier.
Mm.
I think there are some technical problems with the anime, and some like filler episodes that didn't really need to be there. But other than that, it's a great series. And actually, like the like more lost you feel in life, the better this show is. So you know, um, yeah, it's interesting because it's a show that like that can turn into a comedy and a tragedy, depending on like how you feel um that day. It's very yeah, it's good. All right,
Yeah.
I know I know you want to move on. So let's do that.
Whisper of the Heart or something. I haven't seen it. Isn't it
Yeah, I
another Goblin?
yes, it is. I wanted to mention this one. I added this one because this one is always overlooked. And if you like the Cat Returns that film, you should really watch this film because this film is kind of like a prequel slash companion piece to that film. It's just a good like a romantic tale, and it's also a story about like making sacrifices to like can pursue artistic ends. It's just a very solid film that I think it doesn't really get enough love. Mostly because it's not a Miyazaki film. But yeah, I would say this is like a good like B tier entry.
Okay, put it in B.
Okay.
Yu-Gi-Oh! It's been a long time, man. And I haven't watched the whole thing from beginning to end. Have you watched Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I have not watched it from beginning to end, but I have seen a couple of episodes.
I thought it looked fun. So Sita, Tia, whatever you say that. Uh,
Yeah, sure. Let's go. See,
okay, so now the masterpiece is complete.
it
Uh,
is. Yeah, this is the official list. Everyone else is wrong, naturally, of course. Only we are the are the authority. Uh, all right.
it has been decreed. So,
It
uh,
has. Okay. I hope everyone has had fun watching probably like the most boring tier list making stream of all time. But yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we did. We had this idea and we actually did it.
yeah, um, but good idea. It was your idea, so it turned out well. So,
Yeah, yeah,
so with that said, let's end this stream. I guess, unless you want to comment on, is this what you expected, more or less? Um,
I am expected less to be in S tier. I would have been a lot more frugal about the S tier, but it doesn't matter.
yeah. And with that said, let's stop the stream.